going to be seeing what the market is doing. So welcome, come join. Thank you, everybody. This is going to be on Facebook and YouTube. So let me know if everybody's working out here. Get some comments going. Make sure to hit the like button. Let me know how things are going out there. Want to make sure everything's working for us. So I'm going to be going around here. We're going to be seeing what's happening, and then we're going to be talking about some of the positions that are working, some that aren't, and then I'll be taking a look at some of what you are looking at and seeing what we can do about that. All right, so let me go check, and we'll double check with everybody and then make sure things are good. Yep, thank you. Hey, Richard. Good to see you guys. Hey, good morning, good morning. Yep. All right, so what we're looking at first is we've been running into the daily 50. So you can see right here we have run right into the daily 50, and for me I have the Moxie indicator underneath 0. So this is kind of an issue, and so that we've been looking at getting bearish, and I've been bearish. We're looking at this now. Now, one thing I'll be noticing here, and this is kind of where I'm trying to make that line in the sand, and we need to say, hey, where are we going to go from here? But generally, the fact that we are underneath the 15-minute 50 and the 15-minute 200, along with being underneath the hourly 50, makes me lean more to the downside. So it seems to me like we should be going something like that eventually. I will throw in one little caveat, so let me show you this. Whereas we did before, and let me kind of zoom out on this one as well, because this is very interesting. We're going to need more time, more information to get this figured out. But if you guys remember a few weeks ago when a lot of people thought we were going to be going short, which is right here, people thought we were going to come back down here and retest these lows, I was able to direct my subscribers and said, hey, I actually think we're going to be going up. I gave them some reasons and some charts to be looking at, but mostly what I noticed was that we held this level right there, and you could see that level also right here on the 15-minute, on the hourly chart, and on the 15, and you could see that the Moxie indicator was trending up at that time. It was a little bit of a trickery because it happened over the weekend, so I think that caught a lot of people flat-footed, which is why we got this big short covering rally for quite some time. Now, is that going to be happening right now? Maybe, may not. We're in a different situation. We are here at the underside of the daily 50. We aren't here at a retest of the lows, so we are in different proximities in different areas. But it is something to keep in mind, because if this continues to hold right here, and you're just like, why isn't this thing going down? We need to be open-minded that this could go the other direction for yet just one more move up. And let me just kind of show you what that kind of looks like here. So we've seen like we've gone down, we go up, we pull back, we go up, we pull back. We could go up, we could do that. So we need to be able to look around the market and be open-minded and all that stuff. BA, good to see you. Imram, always good to see you. So let me kind of get to a couple of housekeeping items. Make sure that if you guys are interested, you want to know more about what it is I do and how I do it, you can come over here to simplertrading.com/Moxie. This is where I have my alert service. We get a lot of people who come in from the room, like to see what I'm doing on Facebook and on YouTube here. And I'm in there all day kind of chatting around, helping people figure out what to do and help guide them as to what we're doing. If you actually like and want to learn more about how to trade and how I trade with the Moxie indicator, come over here, simplertrading.com/stocks, and we will be posting these in the chat boxes for you. So just kind of head over there. And then we've got some other things, some other content that we'll be posting in the chat box about how to trade these volatile markets. I kind of wrote a little free ebook for you guys to see what we can do about this situation. So just be careful out there. Don't get too strong on any one particular side, because things can change, and they can change quickly. So we just need to make sure that we understand this is the stock market and things can change. Let's see, Mac, let's see, that is, I think I know what you're talking about right here. That is a possibility. This is why I'm leaving the door open to, yes, this possibly being a trampoline move. What he's talking about is the fact that the Moxie indicator here is still above 0, even though price is below the hourly 50. That is typically a trampoline move, but we are in a funky position. We've got some competing situations, like we have daily running into a downtrending daily 50 and the Moxie indicator below 0, so that's very bearish. But then on the hourly chart, we have a potential trampoline move. Well, that's bullish. But then we go over here on the 15-minute, and we have price underneath both of these moving averages, and so far the Moxie indicator is below 0. Now, it's not terrible. It's not like really going red and going down, but it is below zero, and we need to take that into account. So we're literally going sideways. I mean, just look at what this thing is doing. I mean, we are just going, if I can draw better here, but we are just going sideways. So this is why it's extremely difficult to really tell what's happening. We're right between, bears and bulls on stuff. So what we're trying to do is give us a little bit of a heads up at what's going on. We definitely got the short play. We went short in through here, and we nailed that one. And right now we're just trying to wait to see what happens next. And as is with the market, we kind of need to get more market information. We need more guidance. We need to really see what's happening, because this can change. Remember, I will keep focusing back on this, that this caught a lot of people by surprise, so make sure we have that. All right, so let me kind of go around a few of the other major markets and stuff, so we can kind of talk about what's going on. GDX, I have been keeping a pretty close eye on this. We actually spoke about this in my Moxie classroom, my Moxie trading room yesterday. Somebody did bring it to my attention. I have been really watching this, and I wasn't comfortable going in on it Monday. It just didn't quite look right. You can see the Moxie indicator was still, not looking too great. But then I kind of kept an eye on it with yesterday, and what I was liking is that price was just holding very, very nicely here at the hourly 50, and you could see also it came right into the daily 8 EMA, and then basically the 15-minute Moxie indicator wasn't super great, but it wasn't falling apart. So I kept looking at that. It kept running into moving averages like that, and I said, you know what, by the end of the day, let's just take a swing at it, and it worked out. So very happy about that one today. It worked out well, and so far so good. So we're going to see if that thing can keep going. One thing I did relate to it was take a look at GLD, because GLD and GDX, they aren't going to be exactly the same, but they're going to be on par with each other, and that they may want to move together. And here was the thing I was looking at. So forgot who was at that. I think it was Mac. Yeah, Mac was asking me about a trampoline move on the S&P. Well, Mac, do you see the trampoline move here on GLD? So price below the hourly 50, the Moxie indicator still above zero. What that's telling us is momentum is still to the upside, even though price is below the moving average. So I saw that. I wasn't willing to go in yesterday, primarily because if you look yesterday, price was getting rejected by the underside of the hourly 50, and you can see on the 15-minute we were still running into the underside of the 15-minute 50. Now this is very similar to what I'm trying to talk about with the S&P, and that we need to be prepared that the S&P may not go down. And we need to just keep an eye on this. What could happen is we could get a lower low on the S&P, say on the 15 minutes. We could get rejected like what we're getting right now. We have this overhead resistance, and we could get rejected and make a new low. But what happens is, look at what we could be getting. So we could get this. You see the divergence? Do you see how price on GLD, the 15-minute, is lower? That's a lower low, but we have a higher low on the Moxie indicator. That is positive divergence. That is what's trying to push us up. And I was looking at that and I said, I think GLD wants to go up. I really like what GDX looks like. And GLD is at least telling me that it doesn't want to just totally fall out of bed. And so I looked at those two things and I said, by the end of the day, okay, I'm happy with this and I like what's going on. So I decided to go in on GDX. Another thing that we can kind of look at with GLD is it was coming right into the 21, and then you could see that there was a support level. You see this line right there? So there you could see it came right down into that support line. So there were a bunch of little factors that added together is what I looked at, and I said, hey, I think this one is working out pretty well. So there's your GDX GLD situation going on. And then TLT, let's kind of look at bonds, what's happening there. I haven't made up my mind about this one, but I'm not in it yet. I've traded it one quick little time. You can see my lines right there. So my lines, I went there to there, just a quick little something. I wasn't super positive and confident about it. It's in a challenging spot for me. I'm not super thrilled because if you look here, this is why I didn't want to go in yesterday. You see how price went up. You see how the indicator was still down. So just opposite of what I was talking about with the GLD, this is why I did not go into TLT. So very, very interesting on that one. Dale, let me know what you're talking about specifically, because there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm not sure what you're referencing to. But guys, make sure you hit the like button, invite a friend, share this to somebody else. Be interested to get more people on board. One other thing, and I'm just totally speculating on this idea. Typically when bonds, or if the market goes down, bonds go up, which we've been seeing. Okay. Now, one thing to think about is what if we're seeing an indication that maybe the bonds don't really want to go up? What if they want to go down or sideways? Does that give a reprieve to the S&P? Does that give a reprieve to market wanting to go up? And if I'm kind of throwing out there that we need to be prepared that maybe the market doesn't want to go down, maybe it wants to take one more leg up. And if I'm not really seeing a clear entry in the bonds, maybe those things are starting to talk to each other. And I'll show you one more indication that we're looking at. Let's see, Vinny, let's talk about Lake. Sure. So you're saying, why didn't I lock in gains yesterday when it ripped? Well, because I was looking for a longer term move. That's why. So the move that we got yesterday, I know you say that it ripped, but for me, this wasn't enough. If you look at what I'm getting, let me get my ticker here. So Vinny, where we got in yesterday right here, and it went up right there, we got 5%. Not really what I want. I'm looking for this thing to actually start a trend. I'm looking, if you look here on the daily chart, I want to see this thing start to really kind of go someplace, and I'm looking for 25%. That's what I'm looking for. And with the kind of trades and people that I'm working with, I don't want to be day trading. My plan is to get into something and have it start a trend. And so I'm willing to hang on to it and let it see if it actually gives us a trend. So the fact that it did pop up and came back right down, so be it. CTSO did the same thing. It popped up, came back, and now it's even higher. I'll show you that one next. So what I was looking for Lake was, here was the 8 over the 21, so that's good. Price had bounced off of the daily 50, so that's good. We have a giant squeeze. The Moxie indicator was above 0. And then what you can see here is that the Moxie indicator had still been trending up, and as of yesterday, the indicator went back above 0, and you could see that price was holding above the hourly 50, which was now turning up. This is the kind of setup I like. Price flagging sideways, runs into the moving average, and then takes off. That's what I want. And you can see even yesterday, it was holding the 15-minute 50, and yesterday it closed right there on the 15-minute 50. Everything said that, this thing should be good. So it just didn't hold. It fell apart today, hit our stop, and we're out. So be it. And that's what we got to do sometimes. Now let me show you CTSO. We'll look at this one, and so far this one is hanging on, but you can see yesterday, right, so we got in yesterday right there, it ripped up, pulled back, and now it's continuing. So that's what I want, and that's what I was looking for Lake. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I do the same setups, I'm looking for the same thing, and that's what I want, and it's just up to the market after that. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I'm here in Austin, Texas, and it just got really dark, and all of my coworkers are talking about how we have a giant storm. I can actually hear the thunder out here, so it's going to be kind of interesting. You guys might see some flashes at some point. Everyone's talking about hail, and their house is shaking, so, oh boy, it's going to be interesting. All right, then let me show you one other thing. If we look at UVXY, now UVXY is the triple leveraged ETF of the VIX of volatility. Yeah, there was a flash right there. So we've got an exciting storm coming in right now. Let me kind of keep zooming in a little bit. There's the thunder. All right, fun stuff. Okay, so what I'm looking at, we got price down. We got the Moxie indicator flat right there, so that was starting to give us our divergence on the UVXY. Then what you can see is, essentially this is a double bottom, and you can see there was more positive divergence. You can see price is also coming into the daily 50 for support, and then by the end of yesterday, you could see price actually sat right on the 15-minute 50, and the Moxie indicator was looking pretty good. So that thing jumped up and did its thing. Now, this is why there's a two-part situation. What I'm looking for, I was looking for the S&P to bounce, and I was looking for the UVXY for VIX, for volatility come back down, mostly because it was just too overextended. You can see is here, this was way outside of third ATR, and this was way off of the 8 EMA, and this was way up in the air on the daily chart, if you see that. And you can see the 8 is still underneath the 21. So this hasn't changed sides yet. And what I'm looking at is for price for UVXY and VIX to come back down somewhere. We'll have to see it actually hits the hourly 50 and then see if it starts to come up. And that will also help tell me if the market is going to go down. But if this thing continues to kind of soften and keep fading, then maybe it's not there yet. So we're kind of dealing with some crazy stuff here. Oh yeah, you guys, anybody in Austin right now? So yeah, the rain just started coming down. It's kind of neat. All right, so anybody who's kind of showing up, I want to make sure we kind of readdress this stuff. We got some links in the room here, in the chat room for you. But if you guys want to see get the free ebook that I wrote about how to be trading in volatile markets like this and kind of looking at a bunch of different stuff, go sign up for this. It's free. You can get it. And then if you guys want the Moxie indicator, which is how I really see the market. I mean, I can't trade without the Moxie indicator. It's how I work. It's the indicator that I created. So come over here, simplertrading.com/stocks, and you can go get that along with the class on how I trade. I teach everything I know. And then if you guys actually want to follow along and take the trades and join the trading room that I have, that's the Moxie Trader Mastery. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that was a good crack on the lightning and thunder. But you can go over here to simplertrading.com/Moxie. So do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for sure, because if you guys, we do this every Wednesday at 10:30 Central, and then that way you can get notified and reminded of when we do this. So, all right, any kind of particular stocks you guys are looking at? I know there's been a few questions. Let me kind of see what's happening up there. Yeah, so Vinny, that was kind of my thought about that. They just didn't work. You can see how same setups, some work, some don't, and that is the beauty of the market, isn't it? Let's see, kind of look at GO. Let me show you GO. So Vinny, kind of to your point, here's another one that absolutely worked out. Now, am I going to be taking part off? No, because I'm really looking for this one to be longer term. What you can see here is, so first off, Moxie indicator is way above zero. We've got the squeeze going on. We got price bouncing off of the daily 50. We've got the 8 over the 21. We just had earnings, got that out of the way because I don't like to trade earnings. And then we had this right here. We had price bounce off of the hourly 200, and then it stayed right above the hourly 50. And I could see that the Moxie indicator was about to cross, and it stayed here above the 15-minute 200, and it was just sitting right there at the 15-minute 50. We went in yesterday, and today, maybe an hour or two into the market, this thing just popped 5%. So now, similar to Lake, similar to CTSO, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing pulls back a little bit, but I'm in it for the longer term because I want this thing to keep moving. It looks great on the daily chart, and I want to see if this thing can carry us for, I don't know, 15, 20% over the next few days, if not a few weeks. So I don't really want to be getting out of anything too quickly. All right, I did see a lot of people talk about Snap today. I actually haven't looked at it yet. Yeah, our coworkers are talking all over our. So we actually use Slack, and I can just see them all talking about this storm that's coming in. And one of them, who lives down south, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad. We haven't gotten it yet." Earnings. Okay, I don't trade earnings, but this is a really good example of exactly what I was talking about with the market this morning and why we need. Look at this. This is exactly what I just said about the market. See how the market, like imagine this is the S&P. Price down, up, bounce, bounce, up. So if you guys check and see what I like, go back when this thing's recorded and look at what I did, there's a possibility this happens. And Mac, to your point, yeah, this was a trampoline move. This is when price is below the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator's above zero. And this isn't the cleanest, but there was some divergence. You see how the 15-minute price went down, but the 15-minute Moxie indicator kept actually trending up a little bit. Wasn't totally clear. It was earnings. And you can see also, look, let me kind of clean this up. Look at price running right into the daily 21, which I'm looking at my other chart here. The S&P yesterday bounced off of the daily 21. So this is a potential roadmap for what might be in store for the market. Don't know yet. We need to wait and see, but it's possible, and we just need to keep this in the back of our mind that it could happen. So there's Snapchat with earnings. I can't play it right now. It is way up there, way extended. I got to wait for it to do something else and come back down. CMG is pretty much going to be the same thing. It had earnings. They're surviving. I know they did a really good job of doing delivery and takeout and delivery and all that kind of stuff with all this coronavirus stuff and lockdown. But essentially, it bounced off of the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator was still above zero. So no big deal. It was able to get past the daily 200 before, and it just pulled back to the 8 and then bounced again. And you can see over here on the 15-minute, it bounced right off of the 15-minute 200. But again, earnings. So it's an earnings move. You just gotta kind of take that into assessment with that. But it's not playable for me right now. It's up and it's jumping, and I can't do anything about that. Let's see, TDoc. Then let me kind of make sure I'm working on. Hey Jenny, is it always sunny in Philadelphia? But and TDoc. They've got earnings. I know that there have been many of us playing this at Simpler. It generally looks pretty good. I'm definitely not going to be denying TDoc because this looks pretty good right here. Daily chart looks pretty good. It was getting a little bit overbought. You can see how price never actually touched the hourly 50 right there. But then yesterday it came down and touched the hourly 50, looking pretty good. And by the close, you look here on the 15-minute. This did fairly well. So here's your leg, here's your heel, here's the arch of your foot, there's the ball of your foot, there's your elf toe. Still not super clear, but I also wouldn't be shorting it. So I would say TDoc, yeah, I probably wouldn't be going against TDoc in an environment like this. So if you want to be long TDoc, I don't really see a problem with that. And then band. Now the only thing Brian, what I'll say about band is look at the volume. It has picked up over a while, but it's kind of sporadic. It's kind of low. It hovers around 300,000, it looks like, and even before all that. I don't know what the news is lately, but it used to only trade about 100 to 200,000 shares per day. So it is a very, very low volume stock, and you need to just kind of be careful about that. So that's what I'm not so super thrilled about. Otherwise, it's been working out. It's not exactly in a buy point for me. I would have preferred right here. This is a trampoline move. This is when price dips below the hourly 50, but the Moxie indicator stays above zero. So that's my kind of buy point. And then if you look here on the daily, you can see here that this was also a pretty good dip. That was the same dip right there. And that was where the Moxie indicator was right at zero, and there was a squeeze. So that being said. Yeah, William, I do listen to Danielle. I like to listen to a lot of our people because, well, I'm here and I want to see what's going on with them and make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, I'm sorry you got roasted on some puts. That's usually why I just don't trade earnings. I just don't. It's very much of a gamble for me. It really takes my assessment away from the market because it's an unknown event and there can be crazy things. How about Netflix? Did anybody trade Netflix for earnings? If I can spell it right, NFLX. That was a big nothing burger, wasn't it? But look at the overnight, guys. Check this out. It went all the way up to 484. Somebody got disappointed. A lot of people, I'm sure, got disappointed. But that thing went nowhere. So the volatility, the implied volatility for options was massive. And it just didn't go anywhere. So a whole lot of people just volatility crush. Lost a lot of money on that one. Hugo, good to see you, man. Let's see, for Go, yeah, there's probably going to be a pullback. I would probably look for it to touch the 15-minute 50. So at some point, I don't know if it's going to be today, maybe tomorrow, something like that, but watch for it to basically engage with and follow the 15-minute 50 for Go, for GO. And then let's see, BMY. What's going on with BMY? Bristol Myers. It's had a good run. It's not at a buy point. It was at a buy point a very long time ago. It looks like it's fading to me, so I would just be careful about staying in something like this. Like, look at this. It's had a very, very good run, and you see how the arc is kind of slowing down. Also, based on my rules, you are going up on the daily chart against a downtrending daily 50, and the Moxie indicator is still below zero. So just be careful. Don't be surprised if kind of this thing drops out of nowhere. And what you're also looking here, the 15-minute Moxie indicator is just not looking strong. So just be careful. Maybe pocket your money if you're in it, but I wouldn't be entering here. And actually, let me show you ZM. That kind of reminds me of something. So if you look at ZM, going into yesterday, look here on the daily chart. You see how price was too far off of the 8, and then you see how price was too far off of the hourly 50, too much of a gap. And then what you can see here is there was a top, and look at the Moxie indicator, below 0. Very, very clear, did not want to go into ZM yesterday. Now, it dropped. This might actually look like a good place to enter because this is a trampoline move. This is still looking a little bit weak. I'd prefer to see that better, so I'm still a little bit iffy, but overall this is looking all right. I think I want to just see something just a little bit more solid about this. So I'll give it a little bit of time, especially since we're not entirely sure about what the market is going to be doing right now. Well, let's see. Tesla. Talk about Tesla puts, huh? Yeah, I'd be real careful about shorting Tesla. You know, like this thing only went down in my world. This thing only went down because there was a gap between price and the hourly 50. Now, and you can see there was a gap between price and the 8, but now it's right back at the 8, and it's right here at the 15-minute 200. And it could be a trampoline move here on the hourly chart. So I'd be very careful about trying to short this. This thing is still in an uptrend, and it really all it did was just do a quick little pullback because it needed to kind of fill that gap. So yeah, and earnings is at the end of the month. That's a crapshoot. I can never say anything about earnings. I have no idea what they're going to do. My indicators, and I don't think any indicator can really fully tell you what's going to happen for earnings on anything. So yeah, Hugo, I'll get to. Let me get back to that for a second. So let me kind of do more housekeeping here for a second. Where am I? There we go. Okay. So for anybody who wants to come join the Moxie Trading and how we do this, we talked to everybody. We got a lot of people. Rebecca, good to see you. Don't mess with. I don't know, Rebecca. You're the one who really keeps making a killing off of Tesla. But I told you. I said don't be going long the other day. I said if anything, you should be looking at a short. I'm surprised you weren't in there just jabbing it with a short real quick. But yeah, we got a lot of good people in here. They come to the Facebook and the YouTube section from when I do these things. They come out from the class, so we have a good time in there. But if you want to come join that and join the community, we're here at simplertrading.com/Moxie. We'll post that in the room or in the chat box here. And then if you actually want to pick up the indicator and learn how to trade the way I trade and use the indicator, you can go to simplertrading.com/stocks. I wanted to put that clean one in there since it kind of forwards to something else. And then we do also have a free ebook. I think we got 2 of them out there that we're offering. So come sign up for that free ebook about, hey, how to trade in these volatile markets, right? So come do that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit those hearts, get excited. Show a little love. And then invite a friend. I know we're all cooped up in our houses and stuff, so kind of go hit up your digital friends. I actually had a friend do that last week, and so she's on board now. So let's do one more time with the S&P, kind of see where that thing is at. And remember, for those who are kind of watching the recording, or for anybody who was here at the beginning, I was saying we need to be cautious. We don't know exactly where this is going to go yet, and I'm prepared for either side. I'm not committed to either side yet. I'm prepared. And just look at Snapchat as a possible, Louise. Yeah, that's Gucci Rebecca. It is. Yep. We got to be prepared for a possible movement like Snapchat. So like I showed Snapchat, you notice that it went down, and it came up, it bounced, and then it bounced, and then it bounced. Now granted, this last bounce was an earnings play for Snapchat. S&P, the market doesn't have earnings, but we need to be prepared for something like this just in case it's going to happen. We can't be too committed in one direction just in case something changes. And why I'm mentioning that is because last time a lot of people were short right there, thinking it was going to go short because price got underneath the hourly 50. But the Moxie indicator and the Moxie members and the Moxie subscribers and people who trade with the Moxie indicator and all that had a leg up, and we said, you know what? That is a trampoline move. When price is below the 50, but the Moxie indicator is above 0, generally that's a trampoline move. Now, I know we're in different situations, but we still have to be aware that this current situation could be another trampoline move because price is below the 50, but the indicator is still above 0. And we are getting mixed signals. Like if you look here on the 15-minute, this went down and it did get stuck underneath the 15-minute 50, but then it kind of held a level and it just would not go down. And it even right here tagged the 15-minute 200, and right now we're doing basically the same thing. So we're going to have to give this thing some time and see if this thing holds. It might even do a little bit of a lower low, but we might get a higher low on the Moxie indicator. We just don't have enough information, and we can't overcommit right now. So play things to both sides, play things that are working, and just keep your head on a swivel, because this may or may not go the way we exactly think it's going to go. So we just always need to be aware of that for the market. So thank you, everybody. I do appreciate your time. I always have a good time here. Good to see a lot of you members coming in here and helping chat, and just makes it more lively. So thanks again. Remember to hit all those buttons and give it some love. And I'll be here next week, Wednesday, 10:30, and we'll see if Mother Nature gives us another little bit of a storm and some fun to work with. So everybody, I will talk to you later, and thanks again.